welcome back to my channel. So today I am back with another video, and this time I'm finally going to do my nails. But before I get started, I want to let you guys know like a little insight about these nails. So these nails have been on since Saturday of last week. So I'm gonna show you my calendar, and these are actually press-on nails. So let's see, it's October. So these are actually press-ons, and these are some of the ones I did. I've been trying to test them out. I've had a lot of people asking me to sell them, so I'm trying to test them out before I actually sell them. At first they were pink, and I'll be sure to leave a picture of what they look like at first. But what I did realize is that with the tips that I use the Macari press-on nail tips, and they're really shiny, so the color peeled off really easily. So that's why I ended up changing the color, because I was able to just literally peel off the color on all of my nails. Except for, of course, the ring finger. Those stayed on really good. So after I peeled those off, I buffed the surface of the nail tip, the press-on nail, and then I applied the polish, and I haven't had any issue with it coming off. So if you do decide to do the press-on nails with the Macari nail tips, make sure that you buff the nail tip before you get started. And then also, when I applied these nail tips, I actually used the KDS glue. So what I did was I just pushed back my cuticles. I gently buffed the shine off my natural nail, and then I applied the glue on the nail and then placed it on my nail. So today is actually the 29th. Yeah, today's the 29th. And I applied the nails on Saturday the 19th. So they lasted, they're still on. I'm only going to take them off because I'm going to do my birthday nails. But I think you can definitely go 2 weeks with these. I don't have any problems with lifting. Maybe just a tiny bit, but not to the point where it's going to come off or anything. I'm honestly shocked at how well they stayed on. Again, I used the KDS glue for these. And y'all, I think if you are thinking about doing press-on nails instead of acrylic, they stay on really good. They don't bend or anything. So I do highly recommend it. But again, just make sure that you just buff away the shiny layer from the actual nail tip before you apply the polish, because if not, your polish will peel off very easily. But anyways, I just wanted to go ahead and let you guys know that. I wanted to give you guys an update because a lot of people had been asking me. Now, if you do use the little sticky tabs that I used in my other videos, these, I think these are more for a one-day thing, because they will stay on, but more just literally for one day. But if you want to keep them on for longer, then of course just use the glue. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I'm trying to decide how I'm gonna take these nails off. I'm thinking about just cutting them down and soaking them off, because they are literally not going anywhere, and I feel like if I try to snatch them off, it's gonna hurt. So I'm gonna take these off, and then we're gonna go ahead and get started with my birthday set. Okay, y'all, so listen. So you know how I always tell you to soak your nails off? Well, I need you guys to do as I say and not as I do, because I tried to just take them off with the what are these? The nippers. But it's not working out too well. They are on really good with this glue. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in and just trim them down, and I'm gonna have to soak them off, because I didn't hurt myself or anything, but they're really hard to take off. And it didn't peel any of my nail off. It's just that glue that's on there. But still, I just didn't want to have to sit here and soak these nails off. But I guess that's what I'm gonna have to do. I'm gonna go ahead and take this bling off as well. But that just goes to tell you, or to show you, how good these press-on nails have stayed on, which again, I'm very amazed at how good they stayed on. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and soak them off. I'm just gonna remove the bling on this nail, and then hopefully I don't have to file away the gel polish or anything. I'm hoping that they'll just soak off very quickly and easily. Alrighty, y'all, so I finally was able to remove the press-on nails. Again, they were on really good. I ended up having to soak them as best as I could. I just don't feel like sitting here soaking them off all day, so I kind of fouled some of it off. But after this, we're gonna go ahead and just clean up this area, and then we're gonna start the full set. Alrighty, so the first thing that I'm gonna be doing is just going in with a cuticle pusher, and of course I'm just gonna push back my cuticles, and this is just going to help expose the new growth and also help with reducing lifting. And remember, as always, you can use just a regular cuticle pusher, which are usually metal. You can use a plastic one, a wooden one, it doesn't matter, just as long as you push back those cuticles. And also you want to make sure that the cuticle pusher can either be disinfected or it can be thrown away. Alrighty, so we push back the cuticles. So now we're gonna go in with the sanding band. As always, I use a 180 sanding band, and I always leave the old one on here. That way my client can actually see me switching it out for a new one. Again, this is a 180 sanding band. Now for this part, I am using the Melody Susie nail drill, and I'm going to be using it at 5,000 RPMs to remove the shine from my natural nail. I start around the cuticle area from the right side, working my way around to the left side, and then just removing the shine from the entire nail as well. And then I'm also going to use this to just trim down my natural nail, or sorry, file down my natural nail. So same thing for the rest. Again, we start around the right side, working my way around to the left side, going all the way around that cuticle area, and then removing the shine from the rest of the nail. Do make sure that when you're removing the shine from around the cuticle area, use the tip of the drill bit. And then for the rest of the nail, as you can see, it's nice and flat on the nail. And then for the free edge, I just use the belly as well. So we removed the shine from the natural nail on this hand. So now we're going to do the exact same thing on the other hand. So same thing, going around the cuticle area. And of course, since I'm doing my left hand with, or sorry, my right hand with my left hand, I try to be a little bit more careful, especially when I'm going around the cuticle area. But it's the exact same thing. Alrighty, so after I finish removing the shine, I'm gonna go ahead and apply the nail tips. And I think this time I'm gonna be using the clear ones. So remember that when you're applying the nail tips, you wanna make sure that your nail tips fit exactly from sidewall to sidewall. So you don't want them being too big or too small, because if not, you will get breakage or lifting. And I also want to make sure that you guys know that the nail tip has to be very flat on the nail. You don't want any gaps to be in between your natural nail and the tip, because if not, the nail is going to lift from the free edge. I know I just had someone message me the other day about that. So again, make sure that you hold the nail tip really tight, or sorry, really I won't say tight, but just press it down really good to make sure you don't have any gaps in between the natural nail and the tip. You want it to, again, be just like that. So we're going to go ahead and apply all of the nail tips. Alrighty, so we applied the nail tips on this hand, so now we're going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other hand. So again, make sure that your nail tip fits exactly from sidewall to sidewall. As always, your nail tips are going to come in a number 0 to a number 9 or 10, depending on the brand of your nail tips. Mine come in a number 0 through 9, 0 being my biggest nail tip and then number 9 being the smallest nail tip. Usually for my fingers, I use a number 9. For my pinky, I use a number 5 for my ring finger, 4 for my middle finger, and then another 5 for my index finger, and then a number 1 for my thumb. But of course, everyone's fingers are going to be different, so you want to make sure that you measure each finger individually. Alrighty, so I applied all of my nail tips and I was using the KDS glue, and I'm using my natural nail tips which were on my website. And then after this, we're gonna go ahead and trim the nails down. Alrighty, so we're gonna trim them down, and I honestly don't know how long I want them. I know I don't want them like too short, but I also don't want them like super long, because this last time when I had the press-on nails, they were pretty long and I got sick of them. That's why I cut them down. So I think, let's see, but they're also my birthday nails. I'm just gonna trim down just a little bit on the tip, like literally just the number probably. Okay, maybe just like that. And then most likely whenever I get back from my trip, I'll be like cutting them down even more. Alrighty, so just like that. And then hold on. Alright. Whatever. So now we're gonna go in with the nail clipper. This is a straight edge nail clipper, and we're gonna be trimming down the sides because of course I am gonna be doing a coffin shape. So this is just going to save us time when we actually start the shaping process. Alrighty, so once we trim down the sides of the nails, I'm gonna go in with my 100 nail file, and we're just gonna be shaping up the nails. So as always, we're gonna be filing at a 90-degree angle on the side, going from the very side of the nail towards the tip, making sure that you're holding your file super straight. Same thing on the other side, and we're not having to do so much filing because you know we already went in and just trimmed down the side of the nail to where we cut it into like a coffin shape basically. So now we're just going in and redefining the shape. So same thing on the other hands, or sorry, the other nails. So same thing, filing at a 90-degree angle on the sides. And then 90 at the free edge as well. And also, of course, making sure that we blend the nail tip right in the middle. So we're gonna go ahead and do this on all of the nails, but it's really important that you hold your file really straight, going exactly from the side of the nail towards the tip. And just filing the side, and then of course you can make them as wide or narrow as you want. I don't want them super, you know, like narrow, so I'm doing kind of like a tapered squared shape, more coffin-ish, if that makes sense. But again, we're just filing the sides and then the free edge at a 90-degree angle. Alrighty, so we finished shaping up this hand. So now we're gonna go ahead and do the exact same thing on the other hand. So same thing, we're gonna file the sides going in at a 90-degree angle. Same thing on both sides, and then same thing on the free edge as well. All right, yeah, so this is what I do whenever like it's kind of hard to get it super straight by filing the free edge like this. So what I do is I just hold my finger at the very edge of the table. That way it has, you know, a lot of stability, and then I just go in and file the free edge. Okay, so as you can see, I filed this one too, like over to the right. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut it down because it's not that bad, but it's gonna bug me, and I know it is. So I'd rather just go ahead and take it off while I'm, you know, right here, instead of leaving it on and then waiting till after I apply the acrylic to fix it, because it will literally drive me crazy. So alrighty, so I grabbed a cotton ball. I applied some acetone on it. I'm gonna place it over my nail, and then I'm just gonna let that tip soak off. Again, it wasn't too bad, but I'm not, like, I promise I'll go crazy over that. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish filing the rest of the nails, and then we'll move on to the next step. Alrighty, so after I finish shaping up my nails, I'm gonna go ahead and just dust them off. And then I'm gonna go ahead and apply my Young Nail Protein Bond. And of course, we're applying this only to the natural nail. And this is just going to help the acrylic adhere a lot better to the natural nail. You can use a dehydrator. This is all I use, and I don't have any problems with lifting. But if you feel like, you just feel a lot safer, than just using just this, then of course just go ahead and use whatever you feel comfortable using, whether it's a dehydrator and a primer or just, a primer. Alrighty, and I'm gonna let this one soak off. So I'll just come back and fix that one in a second. So now I'm gonna go ahead and get my paper towels. And I use the Viva paper towels to wipe my acrylic off on a paper towel, or whenever I'm doing nails, this is what I use to wipe my brush off. Again, these are the Viva paper towels. You can find these at Dollar General, Walmart. I actually have a client that coupons, so she just brings them to me, which I'm very thankful for, because these are, on the more expensive side. So of course I'm gonna use my, let me see. I'm just gonna go ahead and use my Glam and Glitz acrylic. As you can see, I've been using it a lot. This is the clear Glam and Glitz acrylic powder, and I'm gonna use my Glam and Glitz monomer as well. Do I want to wait? Let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and just take this off so I can get started. Let's see. Alrighty, so I fixed this one now. So now we're gonna go ahead and apply the acrylic. So again, I'm using the Glam and Glitz acrylic system, and I'm using my alpha brush in a number 10. I'll be sure to leave the link down below. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab a bead, and I'm gonna place it right in the middle where the natural nail and the tip meet. I'm gonna pat it down, and then brushing it down towards the tip. Remember that when you brush it down towards the tip, you want to be really gentle, because you don't want to brush the product off the nail. You just want to brush it down towards the tip. And also, I feel like if you brush really hard, I feel like it makes the acrylic dry a lot faster, which creates like little bump and lumps. So make sure that you're very gentle. Next, we're going to go ahead and place the second bead right below that first one. And this is what's going to give our tip that thickness that we need. That way it doesn't bend or break. So same thing, place it down, patting it down, and then brushing it down towards the tip. Also make sure that you wipe the sides of the nail as well, just in case any acrylic runs over to the side. It's not going to take away from your shape. And then also make sure you just brush the acrylic really nice. That way it's all nice and smooth. And then next we're gonna go in with the third bead. We're gonna place this one closer to the cuticle area. Same thing, patting it down. And when I'm patting it down, I'm basically spreading it out as close as I can to the cuticle area, but not on the actual skin because we don't want the nails to lift. And then we're just gonna brush it down and make sure you clean around your cuticle area to make sure you don't have any product on the skin. Alrighty, so next we're gonna go in and apply our fourth bead. This is what's gonna create our apex. Remember, we wanna make sure that we don't have really flat nails because then they're gonna be really easy to break. So make sure that you don't skip this step. And as always, make sure that you look at your nail from different angles to make sure that you have a good thickness at your tip and then you also have a nice apex. Alrighty, so this is what the nail looks like from the side. I think I need a little bead at the tip. It still looks a bit thin, so I'm just gonna add another one right at the tip. And this is why I always say that it's very important to look at your nail from the sides because then you're gonna be able to determine where you need to add more acrylic at. Alrighty, so just like that. And then now we're gonna go ahead and do the same thing on the other nails. So again, we're doing the 4-ball method, placing the first one right in the middle where the natural nail and the tip meets. We're patting it down and then just making sure that we brush it down towards the tip and being super gentle that we don't wanna brush the product off the nail. We just wanna wipe or brush it down. Alrighty, the second bead, we're gonna place it right below the first one. Alrighty, just like that. And then again, third bead, we're gonna place it closer to the cuticle area. And as you can see, I work with a little bit of product at a time. That's why I do the 4-ball method. So especially if you're a beginner, you wanna make sure that you only work with the product that you can control, which is why I recommend using a smaller brush. Again, I use a number 10 and I feel like it's a pretty good size. Before I used to use a number 9, but I feel like they, I don't know if it was just me, but they felt a lot smaller than before, which is why I decided to switch over to a number 10. And this size is literally perfect for me. I am going to be trying out a number 14, which is the size above this one, to see, you know, how I feel about it, especially for longer nails. That way I'm able to work with a little bit more product at a time. But again, if you are a beginner, I would suggest starting off with a smaller brush. Again, this is an alpha brush in a number 10, and I will be sure to leave the link down below for anyone that's interested. Alrighty, so we're done with that one. And now we're gonna move on to the next one. As you can see, it's always going to be the same process over and over and over again. I do recommend that if you are a beginner that you also stick to a certain method. I think the 4-bar method is a pretty good method. That way you're not just, you know, adding acrylic and adding. You actually have, you know, a how would I say it, a process that you're doing. That way you're not just wasting your time and just, you know, making your nails super thick or too thin. You know exactly where to add, but as always, if you need to add a little bit more here and there, then feel free to do so. Okay, the third bead, I'm placing it closer to the cuticle area. Remember, you want to make sure you get it as close as you can to the cuticle, but not on the skin because we don't want any lifting. Alrighty, y'all, so I just finished this hand. We finished applying the acrylic. This is what they look like. Very nice and clean. So now we're gonna go ahead and do the same thing on the other hand. Alrighty, y'all, so I finished applying the acrylic on all of my nails, and this is what the nails look like from the side. Very nice and clean. So now we're gonna go in and just reshape the nails. I'm gonna use my same 100 nail file, and we're gonna do the exact same thing we did at the beginning. So following the sides and the free edge at a 90-degree angle, and we're just following to reshape the nails, because after we apply the acrylic, it kind of takes away from the shape a little bit. Alrighty, y'all, so I finished reshaping all of my nails. So now we're gonna go in with a fine drill bit. Again, I'm using my Melody Susie nail drill. I'm gonna switch out this one for the fine drill bit. And then we're gonna go ahead and start filing our nails. So as always, we first focus around the cuticle area, going from the right side, working your way around to the left side. And I think I'm gonna switch this drill bit out because it's actually a small barrel and it's pretty sharp because I'm guessing it's brand new. Let's see. I'm gonna switch it out for my extra fine drill bit one. Okay, so this one is the extra fine drill bit, and it's a large barrel, which is what I always use. So we start around the right side, going all the way around to the left side, just going back and forth to seal that cuticle area. Remember, you want to make sure that you focus around this cuticle area first because you don't want to get any lifting. You want to be able to see where your cuticle is, where your natural nail is, and where the acrylic is. That way you know that the acrylic is not on the skin. And then also just following the rest of the nail. That way it's all nice and smooth. Also remember that when you're filing the acrylic, you want to make sure that you keep your drill moving at all times. So really when you're filing with the drill bit in general, you want to make sure that you keep your drill moving at all times. You don't want to leave it in one spot for too long because it will cause friction and it's going to cause your client's nail to burn, and we don't want that. So again, keep your drill moving at all times. Right now I am using it at, let's see, at like 8,000 RPMs. You guys know that usually when I'm doing this on my clients, I use it at 10,000 RPMs, but since I'm doing my own nails, I have to be, you know, a little bit more careful just because, you know, especially when I'm doing my other hand and I don't want to cut myself. Usually when I have, when I'm doing someone else's nails, I feel like I have more stability, which is why I can work a little bit faster. But with my nails, you know, it's a little bit harder to do it, so I use my drill at 8,000 RPMs. But as always, use it at whatever makes you feel comfortable. Not, you know, I'm not saying use it at 8,000. I'm just saying that's just what I'm using it at because I know I get that question asked a lot. Alrighty, y'all, so I finished filing this in, so now I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other one. So same thing, going around the cuticle area, of course being a little bit more careful not to cut yourself, but just doing the exact same thing, making sure that we seal the cuticle area. That way we don't get any lifting at all. Alrighty, y'all, so I finished filing all of my nails. So now we're gonna go in with the buffer and we're gonna buff the nails really good because this is what's gonna get rid of the scratches left on the nail from the hand file and the e-file. Alright, y'all, so we finished buffing all of the nails. So now I'm gonna go ahead and wash my hands and then we can move on to the next part. Alrighty, y'all, so I thought I hit record, but I guess I didn't. So what I've done is I applied the harp on it color by color club because I'm gonna be doing all bling. As you guys know, I asked for you guys to post pictures with the hashtag Nat's birthday nails for nail inspirations for my birthday nails. And I think I decided to do something like this, so like all bling, except for I'm gonna do some like that with the silver ones and the pink ones, and then some I'm gonna do them like this with like just the tip. So I guess I have two girls that I have to reach out to, and you know, I said I had a little surprise for y'all, so I will be reaching out. But I'm gonna be using my SS6, my SS12, and also some SS12 AB rhinestones, and I just put them on here because I didn't want to have the big container up here. So I'm also going to be using the Soleil nail adhesive and of course my wax pencil. Alrighty, so for my ring finger and my thumb, I'm only going to be applying the bling on the tip, and then for the rest, we're going to do the entire nail. So I'm going to mostly do the SS6 and SS12 AB rhinestones, and then I'm just going to randomly apply the pink ones in there as well. As always, whenever I'm applying this, it's basically like a little puzzle, or that's how I look at it. I just alternate between the different sizes and, you know, just apply the glue and just apply the bling with the wax pencil. Alrighty, y'all, so I just did the first hand and I love how that pink looks with those AB rhinestones, y'all. That is so pretty. So now I'm just gonna go in and spray them with the Mia Secret Gel Resin Activator to help that glue dry a lot faster. And then we're gonna do the exact same thing on the other hand. Alrighty y'all, so I finished applying the bling on all of my nails. So now I'm gonna go in with the Madam Glam gel top coat, and I'm gonna apply that on my ring finger and my thumb. Alrighty, so I did the top coat on those two, so now I'm gonna go ahead and place that under the light for 30 seconds. Alrighty y'all, so here is the final look. These are my birthday nails and I am absolutely in love. They're so freaking shiny and I just love them. So as always, I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at GetNail32, and I will see you guys next time.